Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, my companion and my teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances to you. Garantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We are reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9 and verse 34, I think. It's in prose, so because I'm not so expert in Sanskrit, well, I can still try something. Duravaboda ivata vayam vihara yogo yat asarano shariridam anavikshitasmat samavaya atmaneva vikriyamanena sagunam aguna shirasi pashiharasi. Sorry, there is a lot of echo into the microphone. Okay, so here is the translation and purport. Oh, we go maybe word by word, for the pleasure of Sanskrit language. So please repeat after me. Durava Bodhaha. Difficult to understand. Iva. Quite. Maybe we can ask the Pujari department devotee to kindly close the door. Thank you. Tava. You. I am this. Vihara Yoga. Engagement in the pastimes of material creation. Maintenance and annihilation. Yat. Which. Asaranaha. Not dependent on any other support. Asharira. Without having a material body. Idam. This. Anavekshita. Without waiting for. Asmat. Of us. Samavayaha. The cooperation. Atmana. By your own self. Eva. Indeed. Avikriyamanena. Without being transformed. Sagunam. The material modes of nature. Agunaha. Although transcendental to such material qualities. Srijasi. You create. Pashi. Maintain. Harasi. Annihilated. Okay, purport, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are in the place where the demigods are offering prayer to the Lord who has appeared to them. They were in a quite difficult situation. The demon Vritasura has appeared. He is super huge. He's growing and growing and growing. He's dark like a burnt mountain. And the demigods already tried to fight with him, and he was eating up all their weapons. Okay, no weapon anymore. What to do? So they went to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu manifested to them, and now they are offering prayer. So the demigods are addressing the Lord. O Lord, you need no support, and although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, those transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. Purport. The Brahma Samhita says, Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always situated in Goloka Vrindavan. It is also said, Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagachati. Krishna never goes even a step from Vrindavan. Nevertheless, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Goloka Vrindavan, he is simultaneously all-pervading and is therefore present everywhere. This is very difficult for a conditioned soul to understand, but devotees can understand how Krishna, without undergoing any changes, can simultaneously be in his abode and be all-pervasive. The demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body, although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help. He is spread everywhere. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Nevertheless, he is not present everywhere in his spiritual form. According to the Mayavad philosophy, the Supreme Truth, being all-pervasive, does not need a transcendental form. The Mayavadis suppose that since his form is distributed everywhere, he has no form. This is untrue. The Lord keeps his transcendental form, and at the same time he extends everywhere, in every nook and corner of the material creation. The verse one more time. O Lord, you need no support, and although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, those transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. If you like, you can join me with prayer. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Pujo Radha Madana Mohano Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes. Therefore, I offer him my respectful obeisances. So we are in the exciting story of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is just so beautiful and so amazing at the same time. If we retrace a little bit the previous chapter, this all started with Brihaspati, who failed to offer to Indra, who failed to offer obeisances to Brihaspati. Then Brihaspati leave, they need another priest, they get a priest who is making some trickery while reciting the mantras, sometimes for the demigod, sometimes for the demon. Then they kill him. We remember he had 3 heads, one drinking wine, one drinking somaras on amrit, and one for eating. And then he's gone. That was, I think his name was Vishvarup, yeah. And then they get the father of Vishvarup coming, and he's making a mistake in the pronunciation, and then Vritasura appears out of the scene. And now it's interesting because there is just such a deep dynamics into the Bhagavatam, because now this demon Vritasura is there, he's big, he's ready to devour everything, and they go to the Lord, and now it looks there is like a break of prayer. So you have the action, and then suddenly you have almost one chapter of prayer, and then it goes back to the action. So today we hear a little bit about the main point coming up is that it's actually not easy to understand Krishna. They are glorifying the Lord by saying you don't need any support, you don't need any cooperation from any one of us. You can actually do everything. Annihilation, maintenance, creation, you do everything. You don't need at all any one of us. You are capable to do everything. That's one of the praise they are giving. So it's the let's say the principle we can extract from this lecture is that Krishna is very mysterious, and only his devotees can actually get a glimpse or understand him or get able to understand him. So I hope in this lecture we will get some desire to know Krishna more deeper, and that we will be able to feel his presence, to feel his omnipresence, because that's also something Prabhupada brings into the purport, that even though Krishna is everywhere, present in everything, he is at the same time in his abode. So we will see how Krishna is far beyond our ability to comprehend him. We will see that we have a chance to understand him or realize him with the process of bhakti. And we will see how, when we start with the process of bhakti, Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. So in the beginning, and it's interesting, I did not plan it like this, but it brings actually to Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. In the beginning, we see who is Krishna, how far he is, then the practice of bhakti to realize him, and then the reciprocation, entering into the relationship with the Lord. So Krishna is far beyond our ability to understand. I remember I was once in a yoga studio for a kirtan event, and the leader of the ashram was bringing us to the different yoga rooms, having different type of deities. There was the Kali or the Durga room, the Shiva room, the Krishna room, and everywhere was a deity. And I was telling him something about the deity, about the personality, and he said, "Stop." He said, "We cannot understand. Not possible. So should not even try. God is God, and bas enough. And I notice it's actually only when one is approaching the Lord with this aspect of bhakti, then another dimension open. But without this dimension of bhakti, it's just no way to understand. It's just too far beyond. So we see here how he is supremely independent. He do not need any support. He creates everything by himself. That's actually, it's also a nice point that sometimes also, but that actually should come at the end of the lecture. It pop up to my mind now. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'll remember at the end. Or should I say it now? Yeah, it's it's actually we also sometimes feel we can do things on our own. I can do it on my own. I'm very much in that style. Like I don't need anyone. I will do. Okay, someone cannot do. I will do it on my own. But it's actually very nice when we can share the service or actually ask for help and have an exchange. And it's very much the same with Krishna. He can do everything on his own, but he's actually happy to share the things that needs to be done with others. And we'll see a little bit at the end on this. So even though he seemed to be engaged in material activities, he's always transcend those material activities. And there are actually quite some mantras in the Sri Upanishad that explain how far Krishna is beyond our capacity to understand, at least for non-devotees. Like in the first mantra, he is always complete, and even though everything comes from him, he still remains complete, and all the parts coming from him are also complete. Okay, that's already far. And then in the mantra 4 and 5, it is written that although he is fixed in his abode, the supreme personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all other running. So that's also connected to the purport. He's totally present everywhere, and he can, even though he's in his abode, he can be faster than anyone else, than other running. I don't know if we should take that literally, other running, like people running, or other running. It could be another meaning, other running, other activities. Yeah. Maybe I read it one more time, and maybe Kamala Sita, who is expert in English language, maybe you have an idea if it can be taken in another term. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all other running. Okay. All other activities. Like I make my computer run, like, yeah. Okay. And then there is the mantra 5 also that is in the same. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. So that all those are like philosophical concepts explaining the personality of Godhead that seems to be extremely difficult to grasp, but like we see later for devotees, it's not so difficult. We have an example of for non-devotees how difficult it is to grasp Krishna, and this is I remember this story of Kalayavana, who was actually very angry at Krishna. He wanted to fight with him, and he saw that Krishna did not have any weapon. So he also took his weapon aside and he, okay, I'll go with hands. And he started to follow Krishna and run after Krishna. And Krishna was always keeping a very, very short distance. He was really like all the time thinking, I will get it, very, very short. But because of the sinful activities of Kalayavana, he was just not able to catch the Lord, just not able. And this is the same for non-devotees or with this luggage of sinful activities. You just cannot catch the Lord. You just cannot understand, just cannot grasp Him. So we have a chance by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Here Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna remains beyond the reach of non-devotee, just no way, just beyond. But it makes himself available for his dear devotees. And there is actually, I read this story some times ago of this importance of devotional service that was in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I think you all remember Devananda Pandit, who was a Bhagavatam reciter, And there is the story of Gadadhar hearing from him and falling in ecstasy. So later on, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he came back to Bengal for a short time. And there Devananda Pandit came, and at that time he was very, very humble and very, very submissive to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But before, he did not like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much. He did not value Chaitanya Mahaprabhu much. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wondering, what happened to our Devananda Pandit? How can he change like this? And the explanation is that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and was going to Jagannath Puri and to other South India tour, what happened is that Vrakeshvara Pandit, who was like very, very, very exalted devotee, came to Devananda Pandit and asked, can I stay in your house? And Devananda Pandit accepted him, and he actually started to serve him. He noticed how Vrakeshvara Pandit was just so much in bhav, so much in ecstasy, that he started to serve Vrakeshvara Pandit. And he had two main services. When Vrakeshvara Pandit was in the street and was dancing, Devananda Pandit had a stick, and he would keep the crowd to some distance so that Vrakeshvara Pandit could dance without trouble. And when he will see that, oh, here Vrakeshvara Pandit is ready to faint, he will leave the stick aside and will remain very close and will just grasp him at the time of fainting. And due to this service to Vrakeshvara Pandit, he started to be able actually to understand Krishna Chaitanya and develop some attraction from Krishna Chaitanya. So when Krishna Chaitanya came back, then Devananda Pandit came and offered obeisances to Sri Chaitanya. And he asked him a question. I was touched there. He said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how should I deliver lecture on Bhagavatam? How should I speak about Bhagavatam? Please instruct me. And there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered, you, in every lecture of Bhagavatam, you have to underline the process of bhakti. This is the guideline. In everything you talk, bhakti should be the center point. Don't speak of any other process. Keep the process of bhakti as the central point. So I felt actually very inspired for that, because I'm also giving lecture, and to always actually keep the process of bhakti as the central point, and every lecture should actually be underlined and emphasized in this process of bhakti. So in Chaitanya, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks to Arjuna almost at the end, 18th chapter, verse 55, where he explained that actually only by bhakti one can understand me. The verse goes, one can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we know there are the 9 processes of devotional service, but the root of all, actually, that I'm not sure from which Purana it comes, but the rule of all regulations that we have in the scriptures is to always remember the Lord and never forget Him. And that's connect to Smaranam, to always remember the Lord, one of the items of bhakti. I would like to speak a little bit about that, but because here Prabhupada also said for a devotee, he can remember all the time, he can feel all the time the presence of the Lord everywhere. He can feel the omnipresence of the Lord. He can remember that the Lord is all the time there, present in everything. And this is actually such a beautiful meditation to try to enter into that mood that He's all the time there, He's all the time watching us, He's all the time next to us, and that we can actually have this relationship with Him at any time, at any moment. And I thought that can be, I always feel lecture should have, action point or application point that we take with us after the lecture, and we, during the day, might try to apply. So this is actually a nice thought, at least I want to take for me today, to try to feel His presence and remember He is actually there. He's all the time there, present with me. And I found a quote from my spiritual master in one article, who was giving a beautiful example. He explained that once he was with a god brother walking in Vrindavan, and they saw those girls having water pots on their heads, and they were able to sometimes bend when there was a tree on the path. They had the children in their arms, and they were laughing, but they always kept the pots on their heads. So Maharaj, there was a Brijbasi devotee with them. He said, okay, go and ask them and translate to them, how do they do to keep their pots on their heads so easily? And so the answer of the girl was, you just have to remember that the pot is there. You can't suddenly lay down, but otherwise you can do everything as long as you know it is there. So this is, Maharaj said, what a nice answer. So Maharaj said, in the same way, as long as we know that Krishna is there, which is called Krishna consciousness, we can go through life comfortably. But alas, as soon as we forget that Krishna is there, our life pours over us and we get wet. Have we not all had this experience? So a devotee should go through life always remembering that Krishna is there. Krishna told Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, you should fight and you should always think of me. It is something that we all have to train ourselves to do. The best way to train this, Krishna is there consciousness, is to remind ourselves, I will do this for Krishna before starting any activity. So Maharaj gave this point, the best way to actually remember that he is there, that he is all the time present with us, is to offer all the activities that we do to him. And then he said this, this is also an application point we can take for today. Krishna is there. Now I will try to remember. And I would like to make also a side point on practice of bhakti by in this offering our activities to Krishna. Actually, where is it? Yeah, it comes after. So there is this verse, maybe some of you know, Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmanava anushrita svabhavat karomi atyat sakala parasmai govardhana yeti samarpayami. I mean, usually it's Narayana yeti samarpayami. We say Govardhana yeti. When we sing this prayer, we sing it every day with my wife. This is a verse that says that actually whatever... Actually, I can read it. In accordance with one's particular nature, whatever one does with his body, words, mind, senses, intelligence, or purified consciousness, one should offer to the Supreme, thinking, this is for your pleasure, O Lord Govardhan, or Narayan. So this is actually, we recite in the evening, okay, what I did today with my mind, words, deeds, I offer it now to you. But best is actually to do it before, or even best to do it during, as we do the activity, to offer it. So in other words, we should involve Krishna in all aspects of our daily life. Then our activities, even the ordinary one, will be purified. Of course, our sadhana, or when we chant the holy name, or that should be really like the main focus, this activity is for you. But also during the services, during driving or whatever we do, to always do this endeavor to offer, I offer to you this activity, I offer to you the fruit of these activities. And Maharaj said this point is often not emphasized enough, but for the practitioner of bhakti, it is very important to remember and to, I think I don't know for you, but this is something we hear so many times, but so many days sometimes pass, and how many activity did I offer today to the Lord, consciously that I offer it, I dedicate it for the pleasure of Radha Madan Mohan. So that I thought might be valuable to bring it also as an action point or application point we can try today. And what happened after? This is beautiful. The Lord starts to reciprocate. When we enter into the realm of bhakti, the Lord is very pleased, and then he starts to reveal himself. He starts to reciprocate. And then he likes to engage the devotees in the service. Then he's not thinking, okay, I will do everything on my own anyway. I can do everything on my own. I don't need support. I don't need cooperation. Who cares? I will do it. No, he's very, very happy to engage the devotees in his service, knowing that not because he has an ego problem and he wants to be in the center, but he knows it will be very good for his devotees to be engaged in service. So I would like to read that's a very, very beautiful purport. I'm not sure if I actually no, I did not write from where it comes, but it's very, very beautiful how Krishna enters into this loving relationship with these devotees and will ask them for service. So this is Srila Prabhupada writing, I think it's 5th canto or something like this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is endowed with all 6 opulences in full, and moreover, he is extremely kind to his devotees. That's nice. He has the 6 opulence in full, but moreover, he is very kind, extremely kind to all his devotees. Although he is full in himself, he nonetheless wants all living entities to surrender into him so that they may engage in his service. Thus he becomes satisfied. Although he is full in himself, he nonetheless becomes pleased when his devotee offers him patram pushpam phalam toyam, a leaf, flower, fruit, water in devotion. Sometimes the Lord, as the child of Mother Yashoda, requests his devotee for some food, as if he were very hungry. Sometimes he tells his devotees in a dream that his temple and his garden are now very old and that he cannot enjoy them very nicely. Thus he requests the devotee to repair them. Sometimes he is buried in the earth and is as if unable to come out himself. He requests his devotee to rescue him. Sometimes he requests his devotee to preach his glories all over the world, although he alone is quite competent to perform this task. Even though the Supreme Personality of Godhead is endowed with all possessions and is self-sufficient, he depends on his devotees. Therefore, the relationship of the Lord with his devotees is extremely confidential. So here we enter actually a very, very confidential area. Only the devotee can perceive how the Lord, although full in himself, depends on his devotee for some particular work. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 11:33, where the Lord tells Arjuna, "O Arjuna, merely be an instrument in the fight." Lord Krishna has had the competence to win the battle of Kurukshetra, but nonetheless he induced his devotee Arjuna to fight and become the cause of victory. And there's little more, few sentences more. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quite competent enough to spread his name and mission all over the world, but still he depended upon his devotee to do this work. Considering all those points, the most important aspect of the Supreme Lord's self-sufficiency is that he depends on his devotees. That's beautiful. I read it again. Considering all those points, the most important aspect of the Supreme Lord's self-sufficiency is that he depends on his devotees. This is called his supreme mercy, his causeless mercy, The devotee who has perceived this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by realization can understand the master and the servant. So that's more or less what I was preparing for today. The point was that it is very difficult to understand the Lord. He is really, really beyond, far beyond our intellectual capacity. But for the devotees, it's not so difficult because the Lord revealed himself when the devotees are engaged in the practice of bhakti. And I wanted to bring these two simple aspects of the practice of bhakti. One is trying to remember that the Lord is all the time present, all the time with us, and the other one to consciously offer all the activities we are doing to Him as an offering, as a loving offering. So that's two, how you say, practical application we can get out for today. And at the end, what is happening, the Lord is actually become very confidential, and the Lord like to become dependent on His devotees. And this is the point of His self-sufficiency. He is dependent on the devotees. So that's what I prepared for today. I don't know if you have any questions, any comment, if you like to add something.
Question. It's always speculative. Why do, like in other ages, Krishna appeared in different forms, and he's merciful, but not so merciful as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is not just merciful; he's way beyond merciful. As you said, Lord Chaitanya himself gives. Krishna is so merciful; he reveals himself to the devotees very easily. So Lord Chaitanya reveals the most intimate. Why?
You mean why Lord Chaitanya, or who?
Lord Chaitanya.
And why not the others, the other incarnation? Yeah.
Why is he revealed? Why is he revealing, to the most? The other, you have to be very Brahminical. Brahminical society is very high standards. And this is the highest of the highest. It gives like really radical freely to everybody.
What makes sense to me is he's just so merciful and so kind, and giving such a highest things to the lowest people, because he's no one else than Radha and Krishna, who are extremely compassionate and extremely kind. So because he is them, therefore that will be my only understanding I could bring to that, because it's Radha and Krishna himself. In the other incarnation, okay, they come from Krishna, and they also help, and they also saved earth and saved Prahlad, and it's also very, very nice. But Krishna himself is the origin, Svayam Bhagavan is the original, and the amount of love that is in them, in Radha and Krishna, is just so condensed, and it's there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so it's just boil over. It's just go to everyone, and still the living entities have to enter into the realm of accepting the process, and to some extent also surrender to the process, so that they can become recipient for that. But I will say because Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna. But maybe you have yourself another answer. Yeah. It's we are just so.
It's just interesting how it's like at this time, it could be any other time. More, people are more pure and more ready.
Yeah.
I guess these people are ready more. I don't know. Kali people are more ready for Islam. I think their own innocence and ignorance accept it easier.
It's always like somewhere paradox. Like we hear, it's much more easy in Kali Yuga. But I think it's clear it's not so easy. I mean, it's easy, but not so easy. When you are in place like Vrindavan, and you see the devotees who are seriously engaged in their bhajan. I mean, they are really so careful in whatever they will say, whatever they will eat, and their whole life is just like fully focused. They really go for it, and you can see, even though it's most easy, just chant the holy name, but still, it's it's a little bit paradoxical sometimes. on that. But what I like very much is that we thank you for this question, because it helps us value actually the gift that Prabhupada brought us. And so often it gets like I chant my rounds or like this, but it's so important for us to revisit the huge amount of mercy that we have to get such intimate access to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so it's very nice. Thank you for bringing. Good, then we'll stop here. Garantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, we took off all the back.
So the flowers are more bright.
Oh, it's nice.
I thought that the flower blue.
Yeah.
What happened? But actually,
There's light.
it's much nicer.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking care of Sri Gongita.
Well, it was a pleasure. We were happy to have them.
We stole them back.
They are very sweet. They are very sweet, very beautiful. Yeah, very also very alive, very present. You really feel their presence. Did they complain?
No.
Okay.
Move to your
You said it. At night, the deities are telling they want to go to the garden, they want to do whatever.
Yeah, it's a little short. The place where they are.
Interesting, this Prabhupada probably had this experience, because I was thinking, where is this example of new garden? The word is from new garden. It's an old garden they want to enjoy. Maybe he has heard from somebody, Why would he put this example? It makes no sense unless he has heard from somebody. The deities want a new garden. It must be he has heard from somebody.
You had a good time?
Yeah, it was quite okay actually.
Sometimes it's good to take a little.
Also, there was some
quite some opportunity to talk about Krishna consciousness.
people asked.